Yep, all good. Everybody all right?
Check 1, 2. Roger that. Send it.
Should be going live shortly. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Hey, welcome to episode 14 of Operation Grow. I think we're 3 weeks into flowering now. Everything's ticking along, becoming quite exciting. And so, let's do the usual. Let's have a quick round of introductions. Treat every episode like it's if somebody's first. So, let's start with Stony Scholar. How you doing, sir?
I'm hanging in there. Been doing pretty good. Just trying to keep on top of all the ladies in the grow.
Hey,
So,
so long as it's consensually keeping on top of them, we're all good.
yeah, they don't seem to mind too much.
Pacifists.
Some struggle cuddles in the grow room. Nice. So, Mystic, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you doing? I'm doing great.
Doing good on this side of the pond?
Oh yeah, life is good over here in sunny California. It's a nice sunny, warm day today. It's a nice day.
You got that beach life over there.
Huh?
Said you got that beach life over there.
Oh, I'm telling you, I love it. I'm 16 blocks from the beach. I can walk to the beach. And when I get down to the beach with my dogs, I can walk all the way to Pismo Pier. I can walk all the way down to Oceano Dunes. I'm like right here in the nice little crook of the coast. I just absolutely love it.
Nice.
If you'd like to come visit, come on out.
Be careful. You'll suddenly have hordes turning up.
Life's good over here too in Colorado. I can't complain about nothing. Except that we're a little low on THC. We should do a dab.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm always down for a dab.
And for all of you in areas where it's totally permitted, sure, go for it. We support that 100%.
I've been on THC. I'm almost out of meds. It really sucks when you're out of meds in between harvests. Oh, it so sucks. I don't want to have to buy anything from a dispensary. You know what I mean?
What's the Freak Brothers saying? Dope gets through you 3 times of no money, better than money gets you 3 times of no dope.
Right?
So a different toy there, I see, Tanasi.
Puffco.
That's his Puffco penis.
Yeah, the Puffco one.
Without the penis head.
Penis.
Yeah, the only bad thing I think on the design of them is if they'd have just flared it out to where you could put your lips on the inside, then it wouldn't look like a Puffco penis.
Hell no. I'm not that type. I'm not that type of dude. I like it on the outside.
Just the tip, right?
Yeah, it's adjustable.
Me and Scotty talked about how funny it would be to get a penis-shaped replacement for glass.
You probably put like a silicone actual dildo thing on top of it.
These things come off and you can buy different ones. So if you get one that's shaped like a penis.
You probably just have a silicone sleeve to put over the top of it.
Yeah. If you design that, I promise you're going to have a lot of like, what is it, bachelorette parties?
Yeah. Welcome to Operation Grow, where...
What's the show about today?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, hold on a second.
I think we need to have some more THC and some more dabs here.
Last week we kind of crept into...
I'm on some Skywalker OG right now.
That was freshly pressed?
Yes, actually some freshly pressed rosin. I was actually able to... Someone traded me some flour for some of my clones. I was really happy about that because I was, like I said, I'm out of meds of my own. So I was really, really happy. So it's been freshly pressed rosin. It was just pressed last night. Got some fabulous color on it.
Nothing's better than fresh.
Right?
Jealous, just a little bit.
I love rosin. I love it, love it, love it. I don't smoke flower. I smoke it very rarely.
And I see the old Josh and the Josh Colbert's got himself some big bud cuttings or seeds rooting, not cuttings, or full cuttings of big bud biosensei seeds rooting. Sorry, stringing the wrong bits and pieces of that sentence together. And this is not medicated vaping. Oh, doing 6 different strains in a flower. All right, yeah. Well, I'm hoping to get Light Addict on the show. Met him on the weekend actually, and he does a lot with fluxing and grafting. He's got a monster mashup of different strains going on at the moment on a single plant. I think he could bring some interesting insights to a few things. Has anybody here actually tried grafting in the past?
I have not tried the graft. Have you, Stoney?
No, I'm very interested to actually make a big grafted mother plant that's like 20 strains, but so far I just haven't had the time to dedicate towards it. It's just been easier to have the plants, but I'm getting into a position where plant count's going to become an issue if I don't look at things like that. So I'm definitely interested in grafting onto rootstock to have a multi-strain plant.
I know, I must definitely work on getting him to jump on the show. I mean, he's worth following on Instagram if you don't already or haven't followed him. Let me see if I can call up some of his stuff here. What's this up? See if I can share this quickly. So yeah, this should be coming up.
Yeah, I see.
He's got this is a multi-strain one going here, and he's done a few. I think this one, yeah, he's got a bit of sponsorship on doing this one. Let's have a look and see. I'll find one of his other creations. One that he got quite a lot of coverage for was the Death Star that he did. So yeah, he's big into the mainlining, manifolding, mainlining. I can't
Monster plant manipulations.
Yeah, and he's got a book out that you can get on Amazon. So this was a hollow like Death Star that he did, which is quite interesting. Let me see if there's got other pictures of it.
It looks like a shrub.
Yeah, it was quite amazing to see. And of course, yeah, your 420 done in plants. So he's quite big into the sculptural stuff as well, which will make for an interesting chat with him on the show.
Yeah, I like the sculptural stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think that you're trading time for creativity.
Oh yeah. I think this is when you having some, playing around and having some fun with it.
Yeah. If you're under a strict plant count and you're in a position where you're just growing for your own meds and you want to start having fun, then that's the best kind of thing to do. I think is just play around and learn your plant and learn how it grows when you train it in different techniques. But if you're barely making it from one harvest to the next to keep you in your own supply of meds, I wouldn't do all that. That's all.
No, probably not the route to go down. Exactly. And I think here you can see, 1, 2, 3, there's definitely 4 grafts happening on this one. Certainly be interesting to get his feedback and take on how he goes about doing it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to talk to him. But you see that woody growth on that mother plant, that main stem? That takes months.
Oh yeah. This has been
to get a stalk like that. I mean, that's a massively mature plant. So And it's fine if you're grafting onto it. Then that's what you'd want, I would guess.
And when's this?
But,
Let's just look and see. I mean, that's 23 weeks ago, and that, from my understanding, is that's the same one being used in. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what's sitting underneath this. That's the mother plant, the main primary plant that's underneath all of this, running, running lengthways.
Interesting.
But yeah, as I said, I'll do mine down just to get him on the show. And it's this is somebody you know. It's the Stony chap.
Well, yeah, you can. That first one on the left that's pictures from just a few minutes ago. So you can see how buds are starting to set and really stack. That's about 8 inches above that metal scrog, and it's a good indicator of what I was dealing with when I was bending and breaking things to get them in there. This is something that shot up above the level of that wire, and that wire is about 3 feet off of the table. So even at the 3 foot, if you go through some of those pictures, I think the last one, you'll see where I actually had to crack and break some things.
You see it. You can see it.
You see there? You can see I got the trichomes. They're really starting to bust out and squeeze in tight, and they're gonna be tasty, I believe. So you can see. I mean, I wasn't gentle. I mean, I just straight snap, break.
They can't see anything. Chat can't.
Chat can't see. Are you? I think he's presenting.
It shows it is.
Yeah, they should be able to see it. They're looking at the video.
All right. Well, here, let me take over.
Hold on. Yeah, I wonder if it's the. They're
gonna be tasty, I believe. So there, you can see. I mean, I was.
That's strange. Yeah, it's not showing it. Okay, let me. I don't know why it's not showing it.
That means. This is
stop presenting.
Sorry.
Sorry, live. All everyone in the chat, you couldn't see all those wonderful photos.
All the wonderful photos.
I can't even see it. Am I presenting it now, or am I just on my?
Yeah, you're presenting it.
So you can see it now.
Can chat see it?
Yeah, I guess that'll be the thing. We won't know for about 30 seconds, but if the chat if the chat says they can see a plant up there, then I'll scroll through them, and I guess I'll just give a quick rundown of what we just talked about, but I'll just keep it brief. So I don't want to change screens, so somebody can let me know if we got any.
Yeah, the chat will be able to see that.
Okay, so yeah, this is the bud that we were talking about. It's about 8 inches above this screen. The perspective is kind of hard to see from this angle, but it's not very tall, but it's stacking real nice. It's got a lot of hairs, a lot of trichomes on it.
It looks great.
So I think this bud is actually right here. So it's just out of shot, but these buds are a little shorter. It's about as tall as this bud right here. So I'm trying to kind of let this canopy fill in. If you look below it, I've got a lot of nice buds set, and as these stretch up, I will use that gardening green Velcro tape. I'll cut off little sections, and I'll just loosely secure them to the wire so that they're held off of the wire, but at the same time are secured to it, because I don't want them touching the wire. And I've heard of people doing like a bed liner powder coat spray on there, and that might be all right, and I might do it when I set up a commercial grow. But to try to powder coat something that is 98% air, it's tough, because you just have a ton of waste trying to spray it all down. So at this point, I'm going with the Velcro and just holding it off of it. There's some trichomes. You see how they're starting to stack on. They're all clear at this point. Some more buds set. More buds. Yeah, this is the bud here in the back that we were looking at first. So
Looks great.
yeah, it's stacking up pretty nice. And then, so here's underneath. And, you know, if this went straight up, it would be almost touching the lights. So I just cracked it right there and ran at 45 degrees, and it actually runs out here several feet. It ends up being about as tall as the tallest bud, but it's running at a 45 degree for quite a while. So, you know, that's how I'll get it into a net if I've had to let it go a little bit longer than I like right now. Usually I like to be in there kind of babying the plants and, you know, taking time to weave them in every day. But I've just had a lot on my plate with some of the stuff I've got going on, and just, I guess, stay tuned to hear about that once everything's finalized.
Yeah, no, it sounds like some interesting projects on the go.
Yep, trying anyway. We'll see.
Yeah, it's the best thing to do. Keep trying. You throw enough mud, something sticks eventually. A BSFL bin. What is a BSFL bin? Does anybody know? Josh Colbert mentions I have a BSFL bin.
BSFL. No,
Big
I mean, you know,
luck bin.
Can't just throw out acronyms to anybody. I mean, I'm sure it means something to somebody, but
yeah, AFA, another fucking acronym.
Yep. I used to be in the government, so I'm used to that. I mean, acronyms are like the government's bread and butter.
Yeah.
If you're not in that field, that acronym might not mean anything to you. So, a little clarification, we'd be happy to delve into it.
Yeah, no, that's been one of the things I've been discussing with a few people.
Black soldier fly larva.
Oh, black soldier fly larva. You know, I'll be straight up. The only thing that I know about them is from raising them in a bin for my chickens. I don't use them for any kind of gardening, but they're extremely easy to grow in a compost, and my chickens love them, and in turn, they give me eggs for breakfast, so it's a good trade.
Chicken. It's just another word for poultry.
Yeah. Now, I'll caution anybody that's considering getting chickens, backyard chickens, and you think that you're going to eat them and get eggs.
No.
Don't go into it that way unless you've got a seriously hardcore, steely heart, because you're going to eventually end up not being able to eat your chickens. So you just get them for the eggs. You'll be happy. They'll be happy. Everybody will be happy.
See, I always wanted chickens. I always thought that I would have two separate coops of chickens. This one over here gives me eggs, but this one over here, they breed to be eaten.
Yeah, the only way to do meat chickens is go buy them as chicks. The actual meat chickens,
You can't breed them yourself?
not very well. They're so fat that they can't mate. So they have to artificially fertilize the eggs for the commercial poultry that you're used to eating. If you saw a regular chicken, you would think it was malnourished because it just doesn't look big and fat like what you're used to. But if you see one of those chickens with all its feathers on, you'll think that it's obese. They just look like little sumo wrestlers. They waddle around. They can't really hop or fly very good. And what people don't tell you is that they typically don't live a very long life because they get so big that their heart can't pump enough blood to their body, and they have heart attacks at like less than 6 months old.
This doesn't sound natural.
No, it's not natural. They've been selectively bred to gain muscle mass very efficiently.
About, like natural chickens, the way that the earth made it. Like, like that.
Yeah, you could go get heritage breed. So you're talking about a heritage breed chicken where it hasn't been selectively bred to get abnormally large, abnormally fast. So instead of it being ready for the table in 3 to 4 months, it'll be ready for the table in 6 to 7 months, and it won't be as big.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but I think that if people are gonna, here's the thing: if you buy some meat chickens, if you buy meat chickens, they're ready to be harvested in 8 weeks. I know it sounds crazy, but they grow so fast. They're like on steroids, even though they're not. So you have to feed them high protein diet, and they grow so fast. But you can harvest them in 9 weeks. If you get a chicken that's not ready to be harvested until 6 or 7 months, I promise you're going to love that chicken. So that's the thing. You get a regular chicken, you put it in your yard, and then it becomes your buddy.
So it's a bit like taking a 12-week flowering sativa and then crossbreeding it enough times till you get it down to a big, fat, chunky 45-day hybrid freak that appears in the corner. Doing the same thing, but with chickens.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to smoke my buds than kill my chicken.
Right? And I have a hard time when it comes to killing a plant. I have a hard time killing a male when I get one.
Have you ever tried to smoke through a chicken? Now that's a battle. I tell you what, man, that fucking thing keeps moving around.
I don't have a hard time killing my plants at the end, especially the females that have budded out to full maturity. They're within a week or two of dying themselves.
But I always think in my head I can re-veg them.
No, not always. I'm trying to re-veg one right now, and it's just getting brown. Yeah. So it doesn't always work, and I've taken really good care of it. I gave it a root pruning before I put it in, and for weeks it looked pretty good. But, I think that it's sometimes when the plants go through their normal cycle, they get to the point that they're ready to die. And so they just put all of their energy into the buds. And that's really how we want it. To try to have them put all of the energy into the buds and then flip them back to veg, it's tough. And, I don't think anybody will claim 100% success rate on that. So.
Yeah, I think, and the quick comment there from Josh in the chat nails on the head with, always take clones, because you never quite know what you've actually got. And I think that, and that works across the board for all the plants. I'm growing chilies in the greenhouse genuinely, and you come across a couple that you really like, and they, because I've planted them out in the greenhouse, there's no really overwintering them. They will get destroyed when the frosts come through, and so you take some cuttings and stick them indoors, keep them over winter, and then get them going again nice and early.
On the stream, Tadashi.
Yeah. Your secret is not safe with us.
Damn.
Yeah. So look, when I was new to growing, I consumed every bit of cannabis-related content that I could find, whether it was video, book, magazine, articles on the internet, just trying to learn everything that I could. And it always blew my mind when somebody that I respected and followed on YouTube would say, yeah, I'm now in a situation where I have to try to re-veg because I didn't take a clone, because I just assumed. I'm like, that's so silly. Why didn't you take a clone? Just take a clone of everything. And I'll tell you why it becomes a problem. It's space. At some point, you end up with so many mothers and so many clones and so many in veg and so many in flower that unless it stands out early on, sometimes you're just out of space and you just got to stick stuff into flower. Yeah. And then when it knocks your socks off in the flower room and you start looking at all your plant tags, did I take a clone? Did I take a clone? And you're like, shit, I didn't take a clone. That's how that happens. It's not that you didn't want to and people weren't lazy. It's just you literally look around and you go, fuck, I don't know where I'd put it even if I did take it. I guess I'll just stick this into flower.
So that's where Mystic steps in and shares all the knowledge on the tissue culture side of things, so that
from what I've
further with that yet, but I've been in that same place though. I lost a really good cut of cosmic glue because I didn't have space, and I put it into flower and I tried to re-veg it and I couldn't re-veg it and it never came back, and yeah, screwed myself on that one.
I tell you what, why don't we have Yeah, do a quick little giveaway, a free reminder to the first person in chat who dials in. We can take a caller. So I'm gonna put the number into the chat and let's see who is the first person to dial in. Obviously, ideally they're gonna want to be in the US, otherwise this is one hell of expensive phone call that they're making.
Well, I guess the person with the fastest internet connection has the advantage here.
Yes, and of course, a bunch of people might have just seen that appear in the chat and gone, what the hell does that relate to? And no, Mystic, your other half can't dial in.
Yeah, he goes, I won't dial in.
He has an unfair advantage.
Hey, it's in the audience. But we don't need another minder. We're good.
No, what you're saying is you do need another one, but you'll happily pay for it, so that's cool.
That's right. That's right. Actually, we will actually we will need one once we get set up in a different house. Huh? And a CO2 one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've got the CO2 in the pipeline now. We should have that wrapped up in the next couple of months. And we'll start taking pre-orders on those ones to get them out there. The more pre-orders we get, the cheaper we can actually get. We can bring the price down a bit then as well. We can order in bulk if we know how many we need to go for. But yeah, that and the moisture sensors, those are coming out.
Well, I'll definitely need.
We need at least one more, right?
I need probably 4 or 5 of them, bare minimum, just to get started. And then once we build out, I'm guessing we'll just figure out how to space them every so often to where we get good coverage.
Yeah, and for a commercial setup such as that, we have a totally different pricing plan. That works a bit more for the commercial guys who need to put in a lot of units. We have an option to go for where you just have a subscription model, so it's not a capital outlay. It's like a mobile phone plan. You pay, the units are included in the monthly fee. And that can ramp up to being quite a lot of units then. It's certainly easier than buying them outright up front. And it's full data, full analytics. It comes with a lot more.
So it's like the commercial plan with lube.
Yeah, and we try to keep as much sand out of the lube as possible. Not guaranteed.
You're asking.
Yeah. A lot of times the commercial plans are just you getting bent over, so it sounds like you guys got the lube anyway, so that's good.
You can't solve with a bit of spit. Oh my goodness, yeah,
Nobody's calling in, nobody wants it. I think I'm eligible after like 60 seconds. It's already been met.
Just kidding.
I guess I should pull up the...
I mean, somebody says they tried.
I tried.
Damn sure it's worth
yeah, it definitely took too long, so I'm thinking... I'm guessing that...
So
I'm guessing oh, I'm getting a phone call. You don't think that's it, do you?
No, not unless they were happy shit. So now in week, what week are we in now in flowering? Is it week 3?
We're on day 30.
30, so kind of week 4.
Week 4.
And how many days behind him?
What?
5 days behind you guys. We actually should start at the same time. We just forgot to set the timer. We forgot to do our light schedule.
Goddamn
It's
stoners.
not a big difference, but damn, you make it sound like it's a big difference.
Well, whatever. Just saying, we're like 5 days behind you, technically, in our light schedule and flower.
Oh,
you flower out as long as you think you need to get those buds chunky. They'll tell you when they're ready.
Yeah, we have a microscope. We'll use our scope.
Yeah, no, excellent. So, is anybody doing anything? So, week 4. Is there anything in particular that? I might have put the wrong freaking number up. I've just realized.
Oh my gosh, you probably just got somebody bombarded with. What a dick move.
What a dick move. Yeah, exactly. What a dick move. Hang on.
So I'm having to I'm having to tie my girls up with some yo-yos now. I'm having to put some BDSM in there, I guess, restrain them. They're falling over in there, so I'm having to do that now this week.
Yeah, see, that's why I got that metal scrog in there. Even though I had to put it up super high, I can just tie those buds to it as they grow through it, and it'll hold them up. So that's why I like it. That metal can really hold a ton of weight. And the first time I used a nylon scrog net, what people don't tell you on YouTube is how to harvest out of it. And the thing is that you cannot cut that net up. If you have not done it yet, please, 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 if you have a nylon net in your cannabis garden, do not cut it. The fibers go everywhere. They get all over your buds. They shear off under the tensile shear, and as you cut them, they just turn into little tiny fibers, and they fly everywhere.
And it gets in all your bud, and it's hard to get out.
Yeah, I only made that mistake 1 or 2 cuts, and I figured it out. I looked at the buds, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I actually had to take a.
You mean you don't like the taste of plastic in your bud?
No,
oh,
no.
Come on.
So what? I didn't.
Your rosin.
You're not living.
So if you're in that situation, the only 2 things that you can do is you can either cut the plant out of the scrog, which a lot of times is not convenient, or you can burn it, which is what I did. I just took a lighter, and you just take a lighter and you just burn. Nylon melts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing would have been if I would have had like one of those hot knives that are meant to cut plastic with. They're just like a real thin wire, and it heats up red hot, and then you can cut stuff. But yeah, I would recommend cutting with heat.
Somebody tried to join very briefly there.
Yeah.
But they left again.
Yeah, you probably doxed yourself on the info on the.
I don't know why they left straight away again. Anyway, a question here from the crowd: when do people prefer to pick plants, morning or night?
Whenever I have time to do it, but I would like to do it as soon as the lights flip on.
Are you talking about harvesting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I usually do it when the lights kick on.
Yeah, I like to do it when the lights kick on. I'm a morning harvester.
Right now, my lights are kicking on really late, so.
Yeah, mine too. But I'll harvest it, I don't know, whenever really. I haven't really seen a big difference if you harvest it in the morning or the evening.
I think that you could probably harvest any time of the day that you want, as long as you let your plants go to full maturity and they've started natural senescence. So when you see all of those leaves yellowing out and turning into fall colors, you just want to stop short of your sugar leaves starting to yellow out. But that's, I think that you could harvest at the end of the light cycle and have a better tasting crop than harvesting in the dark if you do it too early.
Yeah. And then blackout
Look
period.
at the Jamaican Bobsled looking pretty.
Yeah, that looks very nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice bud set there.
I've only got one. I don't see a good shot of it though. I was gonna kill it. It's really a weak female.
Hey,
It's very
who just joined?
pointy, and it doesn't have near as frost like the others do.
Hey, so who just dialed in? Who's the lucky person who dialed in there?
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Jerry D here.
Hey, Jerry D. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thank you. Great show, guys. Love it.
Excellent. And whereabouts are you based? So you don't have to give an exact location, but judging by the accent, it's North America somewhere. But
Yep, Minnesota, Midwest.
Okay, excellent. Right, well, we need to grab your details so that we can get one of these over to you. I will put my email address up in the chat. I don't mind doing that. That's fine. And if you just ping me a message, we'll get your we'll get you a reminder unit.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
No worries, dude. I mean, your email address will make it obvious that it's you, and it won't just be somebody else trying to fake it as being Jerry.
Yeah, I can put my email up too if you want.
No, don't worry about doing that. I'm just going to put some spaces in mine so that the email harvesters don't just grab it automatically. So just remove the space around the @ symbol. But I'm just about to post it in the chat window now.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay,
You don't want to put your your email out there, Jerry. You'll get all sorts of random weird emails. I assure you.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll keep it private, guys.
You might even be lucky and get a dick pic or two. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, cool.
That's not part of the prize.
So, all right, I'm gonna grab that. I lost the picture here, but yeah, really greatly appreciate it, guys. Great show.
Thank you for the
Jerry.
good words.
Are you growing along with us right now? You got anything growing in your garden?
Right now, I've got about 8 different strains, probably 15 plants, anywhere from 4 weeks veg to 3 weeks into flower. So yeah, everything. I had a little bit of I don't know if it was a fungus issue, but got everything straightened out and everything's going really well. I got to tell you, I've learned a lot of stuff from you guys. So yeah, things are going real well. It's I kind of found out from you through Doc Wigglers, and yeah, I really love the show. It's great info. You guys are a wealth of information, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the support.
Oh yeah, well, I'll be here every week, so you can count on that.
All right.
I think it's hilarious. Peter's the only one that wouldn't know you were from Minnesota. Because if not from Minnesota, it'd have to be from, like, Canada, yeah? Yep, Minnesota. Yep, the land of hot dish and casseroles. So, yep. So, cool. Yeah, well, I'm going to get this chat back up. Somehow I just got my dial screen, so I'm going to hang up here, and I'll get that info, and I'll stay in touch.
Yeah, no, please
Awesome.
do.
Thanks for the support.
All right,
I mean,
keep it
or if
going.
anything, Jerry, just message us on YouTube as well. You know, send us a message via that platform, and we'll grab hold of it and get the unit over to you.
Okay. I should be able to find it. If I can't find it, I'll just put a little note here in a minute and let you know I couldn't find it, but it should be good.
No, cool. Excellent. Thanks for calling in, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Have a rad day.
And for anybody that wants to pretend like they're Jerry, just hit up Peter on Instagram and say, hey, this is Jerry, y'all.
No, I've got that accent dialed in now. I'll know.
You're so fucking hilarious.
My dad's from Minnesota. I got a bunch of family up there, so I'm up there all the time. So they can't give me too much of a hard time. I actually grew up from like 1.5 to maybe 5 years old up in Minneapolis. So
Yeah, you can hear it in the accent.
oh, stop it! I've been down in Florida. You'll get some southern stuff coming out of my mouth sometimes.
Why are you coming from you? Why are southern?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would have placed the accent.
Well, now I'm more in the middle of the map, so we wash our clothes.
Wash?
We wash them.
Wash? There's an R.
Yeah, there's an extra R that's not visible but pronounced around here. And everything.
She used to pronounce it wash. I think she pronounced it that way too as well, and she was from Georgia.
Yeah.
So
And everything is a Coke. Do you know how frustrating it is when you're 16 and you work fast food and somebody orders a Coke and you give them a Coke and they say no, they wanted the orange colored Coke. And you're like, what? You mean Fanta? Yeah, orange Coke. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're killing me.
Oh
So
my goodness.
now, apart from Tenacity, who obviously just sticks with the super soil, what are you guys doing different at this stage? I mean, Tenacity, are you putting any amendments in right now at this stage of flowering at week 4? Are you starting to change up the regime at all? Are you just sticking to your water?
Water and microbes.
No recharge though, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's recharge in it, but just a couple scoops, not a bunch. You don't give it full throttle.
Cool. And yourself, Mystic?
The first 2 weeks, we gave them a PK boost. We're using the Jack's 321 nutrients, and we're back now on the regular regimen of Jack's, and we're using teas in between. We're using different teas and microbes in between waterings as well.
And then at what point? Sorry, Stoney, yourself.
Well, this is the first time that I've run the Jack's 321, and so far I'm liking what I'm seeing. But what I think I'm going to do, and I don't even think I'm going to bother researching it, is when I mix up I need to do a reservoir swap or a pump. Well, okay, so I don't actually pump and dump very often at all, and I'll let it go down to almost nothing before I do. So I'll probably just do a top up and an adjustment on the newts. But this time, I'm going to use more grams per gallon of the phosphorus containing portion of the Jack's 321. And then I'm also going to dump, I've got one trial size bottle of Mammoth P left, and it'll treat 100 gallons, which is the exact size of my reservoir. So I'm going to kind of spike the phosphorus and potassium a little bit with my mix, and then I'm going to put the Mammoth P in there. And then that'll be it. The next time I do a reservoir change, I'll just do regular Jack's 321. So we'll see how it turns out.
I wouldn't put all the Mammoth in at once. I'd split it up.
That was free.
That was free.
Yeah, and what do people think of Mammoth? I mean, Mystic, did you say you tried their new pest spray?
Mammoth, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Mammoth biocontrol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used that. We did that that was right before we put them into flower. We did one last good spraying of them with that, and we'd done. Oh gosh, we haven't used any of it since.
Yeah, I suppose now is probably not the time.
We've got all the predator bugs in there now.
Yeah.
Like the first week of flower, we introduced 5 different types of predators. We haven't done any type of spraying on any plants, not even in veg, because we got the bugs in there as well.
Nice. And then does it ever? I mean, obviously, Stoney, you're using Mammoth P. I'm assuming you've used it in the past. Do you guys feel that it gives the results that they claim? I actually had a chat with Colin on the weekend. We met up at this event. But I'm always interested to see what people think of the claims, especially in a small scale operation. I could understand the claim being in, 5,000 square feet under glass, a 13 or 20% increase is noticeable, but do you notice it on a much smaller operation?
Okay,
We actually noticed.
All right, let me tell you my hypothesis, because I've done a lot of fucking testing between Great White, Mammoth P, and Recharge. I ran them all separately, and now I'll run them kind of combined. Now, if you want super frosty nuggets, Great White will give you that. If you want large buds, Mammoth P will give you that. It works. I've tested it on fucking a bunch. It makes the buds larger. You have to use it weekly. I use it sometimes twice a week.
All the way through, or do you stop at a certain point?
No, all the way through, every fucking week, maybe sometimes twice a week, depending on how much they're drinking.
Right, with your hand. He's hand watering. Go ahead.
This is through veg as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mystic.
I didn't hear nothing Mystic say. What'd you say, girl?
desperate to speak.
Have you tried Soil Balance Pro? That's for your that gives you better terpene profile.
And have you seen a difference?
Yes, we've noticed a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It
That guy kind of disappeared after the whole fiasco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but we've used it and we've noticed a difference.
Aha. So yeah, there's little things that work if you use them.
Mammoth P we've been using for years too, and I haven't really noticed a difference.
It's kind of what you're striving for, and how much money do you want to throw at it. So you can spend fucking shit tons of money, or you can do it cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mammoth P's definitely the shit tons of money department.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we still keep buying it, but we just really haven't.
That is an endorsement there. Shit doesn't work, and it's expensive as hell, but we just keep buying it.
I'll have to let Colin know next time I see him. Hey, product shit, but we keep buying it, dude.
Oh, we've got a spokesperson for you. Wait till you hear this.
No, I'm so fucking embarrassed. Whatever.
Oh, it's all good. So here's my experience with it, because I was just doing some samples.
I can't say that it's gonna hurt. I don't know that I've really done a side-by-side test of the Mammoth P, so I don't know that I've truly given a true test to it. So
yeah, I think that's been my trouble is if you consistently grow really good buds and then you try to add something to it, unless it just is mind-blowing, it's kind of hard to tell. Are these your good buds, or are they better buds? Are they bigger? So I'm going to devote a little section for a side-by-side if I get a commercial license, and I'll get to the bottom of it. But my experience my experience has been that, whether or not I put it on there or not, I seem to grow really good buds. So I can't really say one way or the other.
Well, I can say that we've been growing buds, and we've been using it. So we only have a certain regimen of things that we use, and the regimen that we use is working. So that's why we've continued to keep using what we're using, because it's all results. So I can say that without using it, I can't say difference, because I have never done a side-by-side. I've always just put it in with all the rest of the food or whatever, the watering or...
And I guess the other thing is, unless you're growing the same, you have to have grown the same cultivar, no matter what it is, quite a few times, so that when you then introduce something new, like Mammoth or Recharge or any one of these, you can actually see what the effect is. I mean, if you keep switching cultivars every time you do a run, you never know if what you're doing is actually having the impact, you're thinking it has.
Different moms that we've had since we started growing, pretty much. I've had the strains for 4 years.
Yeah, so now that's when you can start to tell all of us. You've grown them enough times where you can spot as soon as you change something in the feeding regime. You can see it straight away. You go, oh, hang on, that's suddenly yellowing up a lot quicker, or that one's suddenly frosting up quicker, or doing something. You notice it. But if it's the usual guy, I say the usual. A lot of people, it's a different pack of seeds every single run. There's no way you get to see what the real impact is of these different products. I mean, that would be an interesting one to do on the next run of the Operation Grow shows. We can speak to Colin Mammoth P, get him to sponsor a whole batch of it for everybody, and then do side by side. Have one where maybe everybody can say, I'll put 2 plants to one side and we'll feed them with it, and another 2 we won't feed them.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have the same cut. Everybody needs the same cut, I feel like.
We're actually doing a side-by-side right now, soil test for Subcool for his recharge packs.
I totally agree with you, Tanasi, on doing the same cut. So maybe what we'd have to plan on that one is people take cuts of what they've got, so that it's not necessarily we have to compare it between each grower, but you need to have 2 of the same in the grow that you're doing, so you can compare them. So maybe everybody takes at least one row of cuttings, so you've doubled up at least, and then can do half and half, for instance.
In my test that I'm doing right now, I have six identical clones, and I'm doing 3 different soils. So I've got 2 of each clone in the three different soils.
That's cool.
Well, okay, I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, stop talking.
Well, I've had a lot of education, and I was just going to say, like, statistically, but we're not going to open on that whole can of worms. If you get some results, follow it up. But like 2 plants, that's hard to really quantify much out of. You know.
Oh, I agree.
The size is so small. So, but I know plant counts are a bitch. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think of a realistic way. I mean, what would be interesting then is you have enough data collected across all of it, where hopefully we could actually see some correlation in the actual data. If we notice that across everybody who did it, that the plant that had Mammoth P compared to the one that didn't shows a slight yield increase, we'll be able to detect that across everybody's grow, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, I guess what I was saying is, like, with what Mystic is doing with 2 plants, 2 plants, 2 plants, if she could do it with 200 and 200 and 200, then it would be a lot more accurate, because the problem is if she just gets a runt, that 1 out of the 2 of the plants that's in whatever sample is a runt, then it can kind of throw off the whole thing.
How are they run? They're identical clones.
Oh, you cloned them all?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess with clones, I would just be concerned with taking enough clones to where you could pick out ones that all are developing at the same rate. Because some clones will get a little bit. Some clones will take off like a shotgun, and some clones will kind of lag behind. But then they might end up being the biggest and bushiest. So I would just definitely take enough to where you could like eyeball them all. Is all.
Yeah, you need to remove outliers and things.
We had identical branching structures. They were similar in height. They were exactly the same height. We topped them the same height.
All right. I guess I just misheard you. I thought you said you were doing 2 plants, but I didn't hear that they were clone plants.
Yeah, they're clones.
Okay.
All Jack clones. The Jaculaires that are in my tent right now.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, let us know what you get for the results, because I think it'd be worth following up on a bigger scale based on the findings, you know? And maybe that's something we could all participate in.
There was a soil test that Subcool, he wanted some people to do some testing for him for some soil. They were just packed. They were the amendments, I guess, the recharge pack, the amendments that we added to the Roots organic soils, 3 different recipes, and so we're just testing to find out which is the better recipe.
Yeah.
And we're also using the green bicycle teas along with that.
Is that going to be a recipe?
Well, Subcool owes me some seeds. I'm going to throw them under the bus real quick. Like 6 months ago, he put it out there on IG. He was like, I need people that want to just grow seeds. I'm giving out seeds. So he said, if you're a legit grower, send me an email with your address where I can send the seeds, and send me 4 pictures of mature plants.
Yeah, sounds like about his application process.
Yeah. So I did that. Now,
you did not win the washing machine.
No, here's the deal. It wasn't a close-ended thing. He was like, look, in the next 48 hours, everybody that sends me this, if you look legit, I'm going to send you seeds. So the only thing I can assume is that somehow my plants weren't legit, which is, I'm not buying that.
Too legit, too quick.
How long ago was it you sent that in?
It was like 6 months ago. No, I followed up with him like a month after it. I was like, what's up with the seeds, man? Am I going to get some seeds? He's like, I already sent out all the seeds I'm sending out. And so now I'm like, well, now you got pictures of my plants with my name and my home address. So now I'm feeling like you got one over on me, because it's like, now, oh, come on now. You got a lot of info on me in plant pictures. And you're not going to send me 6 seeds, bro? So that's all I'm going to say about that. So, Subcool, if you see this, you need to get up with me, man. You owe me some seeds, bro.
Let me see, Subby. Hey,
I can see the next live broadcast.
I'm just saying, look, I could have been repping repping some of his shit for the last 6 months and taking bomb ass pics.
Well, okay. Well, in a sense, you are because the Jamaican Bobsled are Badgers, they kind of fall under Subcool.
Yeah, I know, but ask Subcool how often Badger cuts him a check.
Okay.
Oh God, I'm not going to be joining one of Subcool's live broadcasts as Operation Grow. You got it.
Oh, Subcool's got a thick skin.
Oh man, I'm just taking the piss.
A lot of things to a lot of people. He does a lot of. He gives. Man, when he goes to an event, he has bags and pockets full of seeds that he gives away. So
I'm not.
Trust me. Just he will give you some seeds.
I know, but do you feel what I'm saying though? I mean, how would you feel if you sent somebody that you didn't know and that you never met your home address with your name and incriminating evidence?
I'd feel nervous every time I went on holiday.
It's a reputable person though. It's not like you're sending it to some schmuck.
No, I know, but look, he made a comment like 2 weeks later how he had gotten all this information in and people are growing everywhere. And it's like, what are you doing? Making a fucking map to bring to Congress to show people your people are growing everywhere? Like, we know this shit. So, I don't know. It just, like I said, I don't know. I felt like at least my plants were legit, and I should, under the conditions of the contest.
Maybe he only had so many packs or something.
I would go with you felt you had an unfair advantage over the competition and therefore didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
All right.
You know what? I have some of his seeds still. I can probably send you some.
It's fine.
I have some jinx-proof seeds too.
Oh no, I'm growing out 9 Pound Hammer right now.
Hey.
Or a version of 9 Pound Hammer from what I
what
believe.
version?
Yeah, a version. Okay.
Too many seeds. Some of Jinx Proof's Too Many, and I have some a bunch of other different genetics. Hit Girl, Ice Cream Dream.
So does everybody here? I mean, with the people using Mammoth P, do you use? I mean, I see the question that came in on chat about using it through veg and flour. Does everybody use it throughout veg and flour? I know Tanasi saying he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to say from earlier, but I didn't want to cut people off, is I think that if you're in a position where you have plants and flower and you're inexperienced or for whatever reason your plants aren't performing like you expect them to, that's when I would go and see what else I can put on it. But if you're not having problems, then I'm currently at the point that I'm trying to strip things away and see, well, what does it actually take to grow good bud? Do I need this? Do I need this? And so I'm just taking things away and trying to find that answer for myself, for my own environment and my own style. It's not going to be the same for everybody. But that's what I would do is if you think like if you have enough experience to know whether or not your plants aren't growing like they should be, so you won't know the first time. But if you have a little bit of experience and they just don't look like they're popping, that's when I would put the turbocharger on them. And me personally, I think I would do Mammoth P, especially if you're looking at a budget. Do it in flower. Just start it out like about 10 days into flower or so, 1 week, 2 weeks, somewhere in there. Just start it out on Mammoth P. And when they start sucking up all that extra phosphorus, then, that's, even from what Colin says, it makes phosphorus more available. And plants and veg just don't have the phosphorus requirements that a flowering plant does. So once again, I haven't done any side-by-sides, and I would want to know But my suspicion is that you will see less of a benefit in veg. I'm not saying you won't see a benefit. I'm just saying if it's coming down to dollars and cents, your money might be best spent in the flower. So that's just an opinion, and you can discard it and wipe your ass with it as you see fit.
Yeah, definitely. If it comes to, like, we agree, if it comes down to the pennies and saving money, it'd definitely be better to be used in flour. But we do use it throughout flour and veg.
So Humidor there's making some pointers if you're on a tight budget to use kelp extract, but then to be very cautious of that in terms of not using it after week 3 or 4 in flour.
Oh, that would be like...
I always found that the kelp was good for the roots. And yeah, from a previous chat we had on here, it was clearly something to watch out for in flowering using a strong kelp extract.
Yeah, I think anytime you're just trying to save some money, you can probably save that money by spending the time on research, because a lot of times you can achieve results different ways. What the nutrient companies are doing is they're pre-packaging the solution for you. This is the solution for growing whatever you're trying to grow. And from a convenience standpoint, does that make sense? And for a lot of people it does. I mean, it's super easy just to go down there, measure out your nutrients and mix them up and then water it in. And you don't have to think about it. The guys that want to do a lot of this stuff on their own and be super organic and down to earth, where they got worm bins and they're generating their own castings and they have compost piles, that's not the kind of thing you can just fly by the seat of your pants. You better have a plan for it, and it's going to take some work. So if that's your thing, then, you know, more power to you. So, so I guess that's where the divide is. Like, when you're thinking about trying to save money on your grow, please realize it's not a free savings. It requires an investment of your time if you want to achieve satisfactory results. You have to educate yourself and maybe even try a couple of things, because, you know, there's lots of opinions and bro science floating out there, and you know, fact check stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, as you said, that's just what you're doing. The money you're spending is you're buying time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. All right. Well, I think we've been going for just a few minutes over the hour. It's time we probably wrap it up, and it's been another great week. I think it's a good chat, good conversation, and congrats again to Jerry for dialing in. You see, we do actually take calls, so maybe next week, who knows, something similar. We'll come up with maybe something else to give away next week, a different prize.
Yeah, like some of my bunk ass seeds.
Yeah, we'll have to get Subcool on the show, and he can see it directly.
No. I was talking about giving away some of my seeds that I pollen chucked.
Yeah, no.
Just saying they're bunk, but
just teasing.
Well, there's actually been a couple of people that have seen some of the plants I've grown, and they know that I just crossed some of those plants that came out really well to make seeds, just in case. I haven't been in a position where I've been able to, you know, fulfill any of those requests. But if people were legitimately interested and wanted to try the giveaway thing, I have payload shipping if you want to grow them out. But
yeah, so we can organise that for next week. We'll discuss it during the week and come up with a plan for next week's show. And I'm also hoping to try and get Light Addict on next week. I'll see what I can do on that front. He has agreed to come on the show, so hopefully, we get him on. So anybody watching, if you've got any questions that may involve or revolve around fluxing, manifolding, and grafting, next week should be the week to tune in to find out more about it.
Sounds good. Well,
Sweet.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in, watching. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get that liked and join us again next week. That's Peter from Peter Grow System signing off.
and if you're allowed to grow, why aren't you?
Bye.
See everybody.
We support sensible legal growing. Cheers, everyone.